Okay. Welcome to The Girls That Waited, the Geek Girl YouTube show about Doctor Who and more. I'm your host, Angela, and I'm here with a very special guest at Mysticon, Peter Davison, the Fifth Doctor.
Hi.
So I have a couple questions that I wanted to ask you for our show. And some of them are about Doctor Who and some of them are just about general acting.
Okay.
So the first one was, what was your reaction when you were asked to pretty much do the gap between Classic Who and New Who?
Connect the two. Well, yeah, it was in a way, I suppose it was quite an honour to be asked to do this link. At first, you don't think of it like that, but in fact, as you say, they were separated. We were renamed the Classic Doctors after, because we were just Doctor Who before. But this thing came up with, every year there's a charity called Children in Need, and everyone does a little thing for it if they can. And Stephen Moffat, who later became the producer of Doctor Who, wrote this little piece which worked on two levels that fitted into the series that David Tennant was doing. And I read the script, I thought this is fantastic. So yeah, it was a great honour. I had to go down to Cardiff, which is, no one of course will know where Cardiff is, but it's about 200 miles from London, and it's where Doctor Who is now made. So it didn't feel like my set, it felt very much like it was the sort of new Doctor's set, but I had an enormous amount of fun doing it. We just did it in one morning, because I was in a show in London, so I had to get in a car on the Saturday night and drive down to the night, and then we recorded it the next day.
Very cool. Okay. Well, are you surprised at just how popular Doctor Who is now?
No, actually, I'm not really. I'm very gratified that it is still, but it was, in Britain it was such an institution, and in America had a big fan following. I mean, from the early 90s, we were coming over and doing big conventions, and even when I started, we were still doing, in 81, we were doing conventions. So it's got, as so many science fiction programs do, a very loyal sort of fan base who will travel quite a long way to see you if you happen to be appearing anywhere. But yeah, and I guess now that it's come back and there's more interest in the older Doctor stories, and depending how tolerant the younger people are, they'll watch them very happily. Or like my children they'll go, the special effects are a bit rubbish, aren't they? But we didn't have even digital technology when I made it. It seems extraordinary that, but we didn't. But they still hold up very well.
Lots of practical effects.
Yes, exactly. Lots of practical effects. Yeah, and you have to make allowances when you're watching them for that. But no, it's a fantastic idea. I think Doctor Who, time travel, and so I'm not really surprised, but I am very grateful that it is so popular.
Fantastic. Okay, and you watched Doctor Who growing up. So who was your favorite Doctor?
I suppose Patrick Troughton would be my favourite Doctor. He was the second one and took over from Tom, had a very difficult job, and not from Tom, from William Hartnell, and I've had a very difficult job doing that because no one had thought of the idea of regeneration. It was simply because William Hartnell didn't want to do it anymore, and the programme by that time was very popular. But it was a brilliant, I think, very, very funny character, and yet still had that sort of dangerous edge to it. So he would be my favourite Doctor.
Very cool. And this one is more, you do a lot of theatre.
Yeah.
And so it's, how do you feel that, how does acting in theatre compare to acting on television? And
it's, there's really very little difference, except you have to shout a bit louder. And I suppose that's can be quite difficult for actors who haven't done theatre, which there are more of now. There are some actors, TV actors, who maybe left drama school or indeed went straight into soaps, who've just never done theatre. It's a different discipline in a way, but there's nothing different behind the intention of it. You just have to be able to remember more words. And as I say, you have to be able to project your voice, but that's something you learn. I mean, my daughter never went to drama school, and she recently did her first West End show, and she was fantastic, and she just managed to get it. So it's not that you need necessarily the training, you just have to learn techniques. It's a slightly different discipline.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
for letting us interview you, and thank you all for watching The Girls Who Waited, and we'll see you guys next time.